Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining the webinar today. For those of you who missed the previous webinars, Revit Fundamentals Parts 1 and 2, you'll be able to find them on our YouTube channel, Civil Survey Solutions, and you'll find it under the Revit webinars. In Revit Fundamentals Part 3, Part 2, we added a veranda, columns in place components, slab edge beams, and a topo surface to the granny flat. We also looked at model display controls, and we also used visibility graphics. In Revit Fundamentals Part 3, we're going to continue using the Revit granny flat model from Part 2 and add some annotations. These will include text notes, keynotes, label annotations, dimensions, category tags, and symbols. We'll also be adding electrical, window, door, and floor area schedules. We'll also be creating and annotating the elevation views and make them ready to place onto our drawing sheets ready for printing. The same goes for all our section views, have them ready to be placed on sheet views. And we'll also create an area plan where we can define living and veranda areas and then create an area schedule from that information. And we'll finish off by creating A3 drawing sheets, and we'll place the model views and the schedules onto the sheets and get everything ready for either exporting to PDF or ready for printing. So let's get into it. Right, so on the screen at the moment is our ground floor plan view. Got a few things displayed on there which we won't need on our sheets for printing, namely the property boundary lines and also some of our elevation tags. We don't need to have that. So, and one thing I've just noticed there, we've also got some gutter lines showing up. So what we'll do is go into our visibility graphics, and to get into visibility graphics, then I just use the VG shortcut. Makes it a lot easier, quicker to get into. So first thing I'll do is go into the roofs, and I'll just turn off the fascias and gutters. Apply, and I'll also go into the annotation categories, and I'll turn off. Actually, no, I'll just leave them on for now because I need to show you something there. With our elevation tags, you'll notice there's a blue line and then a dotted blue line. That's displaying the start of the elevation view and the end of the other, or the depth of the elevation view. So using the arrow keys, I can move that closer to the building to make it more accurate for me. And on this right-hand side one, you notice that it's a long way away from the building. So I'll drag that closer to the building and I'll move the depth right in. And I'll do the same to all the other elevation views. I'll just move them very close. Go back into our visibility graphics, and I'll take off property lines. And turn off elevation. tags. So now you can see that it's only the floor plan and all the annotations that you want displayed. So that will be ready for our drawing sheet. So then the next item we want to do is I'll go into the slab plan and make any adjustments to our slab plan. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go down here to our graphic display options, and I'll change it to a hidden line, make it more visible, and I'll add a few dimensions on there because we'll need some dimensions on the plan. The dimensions aren't showing up there at the moment. The reason for that is because in our visibility graphics, our dimensions are turned off. I'll just turn them on. Quickly go around the building. Just getting overall dimensions. Just locate power. That's it. While on the dimensions, as you notice, I went past that pretty quick. You can edit the dimension lines, so you can select it and then place it again. What happened before, I placed it on the wrong line. By clicking on the line again, removes it, and you can position it into the right place. Locate it all properly. And I might, and I've used the keyboard shortcut to get into the dimension, which is DI from my computer, and I'll just locate toilet there. I'll now save the drawing, just make sure everything's right. And the next model view I need to go to is the site plan. So again, it's in wireframe at the moment. It's in wireframe because if I can see all the walls and everything. If I was to go to hidden line, I can't see my walls. And what I want to do is actually just draw an outline of our building line. And the quickest way to do that is I'll go up to detail line, and I'll just add in 7 pen, and I'll use the pick lines tool, and I'll go around the building. Quickly put an outline on. Let's go around the veranda as well. So if I go into hidden line now, we've now got the outline of the building on there. Now, we've got a topo surface there. At the moment, it's only showing one contour. So I'll need to fix that up. So I'll just go to a massing and site tab, and you'll see a little arrow on the right-hand side of the tab, which click on that, and the site settings display. So change the intervals. Want everything displayed. So I can now also say 250 there if I want to. might just that, and I'll just say 200. Oh. 200. Okay, so now we've got that displayed. While I've got this tab open, I can also add the labels on there. And you'll notice that they're very small. That's because our scale needs to be altered. I'll just change that to 1 to 500. Now we've got the contour labels on. Now the next thing, I'll just get out of command, is I'm going to cut around our topo surface so that there's I can put in a quick retaining wall so that it sits on the site a bit better. I might just open up 3D view. So what I'm going to use is the split surface command. Select that and select our topo surface. And just to make things easy, I'll just use the rectangle tool and I'll put a rectangle around our building. Say, okay. At the moment, that's just made another surface within that existing surface, and it's all at the same level. What I'm going to do is select that surface I just made and go up to the tab and edit that surface. And I'm going to select all the survey points and I'm going to drop them down to minus 300 or 300 below our floor level. So, okay. See in the 3D there, it's now created a surface 300 below the floor level. So now I'll quickly make a new wall using the WA shortcut for the wall command. And I'll just put in a quick brick wall I'll do. And around where we just made there. So you can see that's our walls. I can hold down the tab key, select them all, and then I'll adjust them to a base offset of minus 300. And don't want them to go to the top plate. I want them unconnected, and I'll make them say 750 high. So now we've got a retaining wall around the building there. Next thing I'll do is I'll go to the modify tool and I'll just split retaining walls and I'll adjust the height. Just added that into a second one in by holding the control key down, and I'll change the height of those retaining walls to 350. So now you can see that it's created the retaining walls around the building. Okay, so I might close that down. Next thing I'll do is I'll add in a curb line for where the road is. So I'll go back to annotate detail line, drop down to say a 0.35 pen, use the pick lines tool, and I'll use the offset of 3.5 meters and pick where the curb line's going to be. Now to add some text, I can Go to the text tool or type TT. Can select text style, and I'll go with just the center alignment for now. Text might be a bit too big. I'll just put road in there for now. There. Can select it there now, and we can rotate it. That's too big. Oh, I can just drop that down to the size that looks a bit better. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is tag the boundary lines to put the dimensions of the boundaries on there. I can select from the tab up here, or just type in TG, go to the tab, and I'll just turn off the leader for now, so it just runs next to the boundary. It's our property boundaries mentioned. Now just get the building setbacks, the DI for dimensions. That there. Now drag the point down. Just get a couple of setbacks. Go to the front boundary. So go to this point here for now. So there. I side. Now we can go to the text command again, and I'll just make that 2.5. I'll go center again and just say proposed granny flat. Okay, so might be one other thing I might do while I'm here, which won't take too long. I'll go to the massing and site, and I'll go to the sub-region command, and I'll draw in a couple of lines. Go there. I'll make it concrete. So put in a path leading up to the building. So that'll do for our site plan for now. We'll might close a couple of these down. And we'll go to east elevation, which is not east elevation. Actually, we might just go back this, because our true north, our block is not facing, or the building is not facing true north. So while I'm here, I'll use the annotate tool and the symbol place a north point. Onto the true north. I'll do Control C to copy that to memory. And now if I go down, say, into the ground floor plan, modify, paste, and line to the current view, displaying our north point properly. Same with our site plan. paste it to the site plan. Which means all our views are not just straight east, north, south, or west. Go back to our east elevation, and the east elevation now, our northwest elevation. There's two ways to get it. I could change the text of our elevation name here, or the other option is to go into our properties view, and you can change the title that's going to be displayed on the sheet. So on here, I'll say northwest elevation. So when we place it on a sheet, it will be actually saying northwest elevation or NW elevation. Right, so again, we need to turn off a few things that are displayed here, which we don't want displayed on the sheet, namely the section line there. So I go to visibility graphics, go into annotation, and then scroll down to sections and turn section. The other thing I need to do is I'll just turn on the crop view now, because you don't want all that displayed. I'll just pull that something need. Double click the mouse button or the scroll wheel to zoom in. And again, I can change the visual style. So I can say that's shaded. You can see once I made that shaded, that's the ground is being shaded there. So I can pull that up if I wanted to, but just leave that like that for now. And I'll turn off the crop region visibility. While I'm here, notice that the downpipe's not going down to the ground. Go to the properties and -300, and at the same time, raise the height of it by 300. Correct. And now we need to throw some text or annotations onto the elevation. So there's a number of ways you can do it. Sometimes a combination of both. Sometimes it's just, a lot of the times I just use Keynotes. So if I go to annotate, we've got this Keynote drop down here. Let's go to the Keynote settings, because you need to have a file. So at the moment, that file is in the Revit libraries folder. The one that's loaded into the drawing at the moment is the Revit Keynotes _metric text. Say OK to that there now. But I'll just, I've got one that I'm going to be using today here, because you can make all your own styles up. So that's how it is in a text file, and you can make your own text file up and make it as big and powerful as whatever you want. Revit does come with 3 different ones. Let's get it. So I will go back to Keynote Settings, and I'll browse, and you'll notice that there's a few there, but I'm going to use the Civil Survey Solution. Okay. So my keyboard shortcut to that is KK, and notice that there's no leader on there at the moment, so I'll need to turn leader on. And I'll just that easy. Now, there's one thing I did notice when I did that there was no fascias around the whole roof, which I can add in by just picking that fascia that's on there, and I can add around the building. Sure. Now, when I go to my Keynote, you'll see that there's a dotted blue line there, so I can easily just line them all up. I can add one for the posts, another one required for the brickwork. Add one in. This is when there's not one associated with it. It'll pop up this window so you can select what you want there. That. Put one in for the roof. So all of these can be moved about. So I'll go to the northwest elevation, or the north elevation, which is actually our southwest elevation. So the first thing I'll do is I'll just fix up that. Sure our cropping is right, so that's okay. So all we need to do is quickly add in the keynotes, so you can just go straight to there. Keyboard shortcut. So there's our fascia, our boards. We've got windows, the window. Gutter there. Got our posts there as well. The beauty of doing it all this way is something changes when you make a change to one of your Keynote. It updates the whole drawing at the one time, so you don't have to go looking for where you might have placed that change. Or if a wall style changes, it'll come up with a question mark. So you need to add in another Keynote. Go to the south elevation, which is our northeast elevation. Keynotes in. and down pipe in, but not forgetting that any time at all you can just add your normal text in with add a leader to it. I'll change that to 2 mil and add one in. So retaining wall there for now. So you can have a combination of both. I'll go to our west elevation. West elevation is southeast. We add okay, so that's elevations ready to put on sheets. Now we'll go to the section, and we've got things visible there, which we don't want. So go to the VG, Annotations, and we'll go down to the sections, turn off the sections. And I'll also crop here. Turn off the crop and shade it for now for display purposes and to show something else. So again, we can always just use a few keynotes on there. Go to this. Let's go to the slab. Just add in some straight text. So the way I made that view was I right-clicked on the ground floor plan, I went to duplicate, and I duplicated the view. And then I can go in there and I can call that the electrical. There's a few things I need to turn off. We don't want section there. So I go to annotation, turn off the sections, and hover over one of the retaining walls because I don't want them as well. And I'll go into hide those elements in this view. And now I'm going to add some electrical fittings on there. what I need to do is go into our visibility graphics, and I'll just turn on the electrical fixtures into this view. And you'll see there, that's what I'd previously done. I'd put the electrical, the lights, some downlights and GPOs on there. So we might leave it at that for now, and I'll create a schedule from that information of electrical equipment. So I'll go into our View tab, Schedules, and I'll create a schedule. I'll select electrical fixtures, and I'll add in a family and the type image, which will give me a picture of each of those items, and I'll also add in a count, which will give me a count, the number of each one. Okay, so there it's made a schedule. So I've got this here. Oh, the other, with these schedules now, you can hold down the control key and roll the mouse wheel to make it, the text bigger or more visible. So at the moment, I've got three items, different items in there. I'll go across to the filter tab, and I'll just filter by family. But I'll need to sort by family, and do is I'm not going to itemize each one, but I just need a total of each one. Back into, I think I take off that filter. Silly. So now we've got our three items in there, downlight, and our two lot. That's GPOs 300 above floor level and one just above the bench height. And notice there that the type image is linking to a JPEG file which I've created, which will only be displayed when we insert that electrical schedule onto our sheet, which is what we'll get into doing now. So I'll just close that down. I might close a few of these as well. While we're here, I don't know if we need these retaining walls visible on the sheet either. So I'll go down, and we've got one sheet in here already. So if I double click on that at the moment, that one comes with Revit automatically with Autodesk on there. Now, if I select that sheet, I can go and change it to whatever one I want. So I want to have an A3. There is a drawing list which they've got coming up automatically as well. So I'll leave that there. What I'll do now, so I'll use this as a title sheet, and I'll just put a 3D image on there, but I'll duplicate that existing 3D one and rename it to Title 3D. On this sheet here, I can drag that across. Now that will be on the sheet. open up that again, and what I'll do is I'll crop the view. I don't want to all that, so I'll just crop it down. Like the crop. Go back to our sheet. Go up there. Relocate all this to wherever we want. And with that view, of course, we can change that whenever we want. So I can scroll that around, do whatever. Just crop a bit. Okay, so the next one I'll do, I'll make a plan sheet. So right click on sheet, go to new sheet, go to an A3 sheet again, go down to our plan view, ground floor, and select it, locate it, and there, just move that position. So there's our ground floor plan. I'll go create another sheet. Make a few of them at the same time. Put our elevations on here so we can northwest elevation. Notice that blue dotted line allows us to line things up pretty well. To the next sheet, put in the south. Next sheet, and we'll add in sections. Make some more sheets. Put on the electrical plan. And we'll add slab plan there. And with the electrical plan, I'll also add in the schedule. It's that one there. There's our schedule with the images. Now we can resize this if we want to. Okay, so now we'll go back. The only thing we need to do now is we can rename each of these sheets. So I'll just say title, one. And
John, just while you're doing that, I was just wondering where the title block or title sheet, because I noticed that you're obviously updating them. It's working a bit like an attribute. Not only is it changing the in the project browser the name, but it's also updating your title block.
That's correct. Yes, yes. Because it's got it is a it is connected to, it's a parameter within the title block, which is connected. Yes.
So is this title block, this by the looks of things looks like an Autodesk based, or one of their default ones, as it were, that comes with the template. But is it a case of that you could create these yourself within, say, AutoCAD, or would you generate these in Revit?
You would generate them in Revit, and the easiest way to do it is to say select it, and it's only a family, just like what we were talking about last week. So edit the family, and that's just an image there. So I can
Okay. Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with them. So I had one. I didn't. Anyway,
that's okay. But it's you can see.
But as you can see, each of these here are tags and labels. So they're go to edit that label. It's actually parameters within the drawing itself. So
it's going to embed everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can add any of these labels here into your drawing sheet. So there's a multitude of different items that you can put into your sheet.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, John.
I'll just save that. So we got down to elevations, and we're now onto the sections. So rename sections, and last one is a electrical and slab plan. So just rename. If I go back to our first one, that'll have our drawing sheets up there, which again is just a schedule. So if I go across to the schedules here, that's automatically made. Well, it's part of that template. So you can change this as well. You can add in whatever you want, change it. Just leave that for now. But you'll notice I've got author and checked by there. If I go back to our drawing sheets here, if I select them all, should be able to see where right. Not in a drawing sheet. I can actually just change, just put my initials in there for now. Once I do this and apply or go back, you'll notice that it automatically fills that in. There should be a date one there, which I'm probably seeing at the moment. It looks like that date one's got to go in on its own. But you can set it up so that you can put everything in here, so it's automatically comes up in your parameters on this left-hand side. Unlimited, so they didn't update them. On the title sheet. Anyway, you get the drift. So after you've done each of those, it's only a matter of going up to File, and you can either export it. You can export it as a PDF in 2022. So that's just a matter of select your views. Go through there and select each of the sheets. So there, and then just a matter of putting in the information. I don't fit to page. It's always 100%. And after you've got everything in there, just export. And it's basically the same with the print. So if we go File, Print, printer, moment, it's only a matter of selecting again what you wanted to print. So, and the settings. So I haven't got any of theirs, but 3, whatever, again, 100%, and that's it basically. And then just print, and that's about it. Unless you want any questions.
Well, yeah, I guess there's still more to follow on from this, but one thing that struck me is having done this type of work in the past, the amount of work that would have been involved in doing that in AutoCAD. I mean, you have been educating whilst you've been creating. So if you just had your head down and you were working on this, I mean, you've achieved in 3 hours what in AutoCAD would take, I don't know how long. I don't know how long that would have taken me in AutoCAD, but certainly generating the information, the annotation, the labeling, the views, drawing all those from scratch, which you have to do in AutoCAD.
That's right.
You know, there's clearly, this is the tool for this type of work, which is fantastic. Now, John, just before we finish up, what is it that you're aiming for in part 4?
Well, in the next time, we'll probably just continue on a little bit more with our granny flat model, with maybe doing a few legends. We haven't touched on details of the section, so we can actually get a cutout detail. We can also import AutoCAD drawings into there. That's probably worthwhile looking at.
Definitely, yeah.
And then sharing coordinates with AutoCAD drawings or Civil 3D.
Fantastic.
So yeah, we'll work on that next time.
Great stuff. We have an Autodesk Civil 3D Profiles and Profile View webcast next week, followed by a Civil Site Design webcast, which will focus on some tools which in version 22 got updated quite extensively. So it's worth unpacking those and showing you how they're going to be working, probably in a sort of a reconstruction scenario. So feel free to come along to that. Thank you very much for today, John. Appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And we thank you for your attendance, and we look forward to seeing you all very soon, and we hope you stay safe and well. Thank you.